Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everybody. I've said before how hypnotherapy can be a game changer to move your life forward, realize things that are going on in your life, why you do certain things, why you might even have habits that don't support you. Easier said than done, because I had some aversions to it. Like, what is this going to be like? How's this going to feel? So we're going to show you what it's like. Well, we're actually going to do hypnosis. Well, I say we, I use that lightly. She's going to do it on somebody and demonstrate that. And I do believe we're also going to do a guided meditation to benefit everyone. She is Melissa Darrington, and she's back with us. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thanks so much, Steve. How are you doing today?
Really great, and gratified that we can do this today because we've talked about the myths of hypnosis, the misconceptions that people have, the fact that many people think that individuals like yourself can control somebody and make them do things they don't want to do. You know, we've seen it on TV, bark like a dog, cluck like a chicken, and all of that. You're not going to do something you don't want to do. You know, somebody is not. And there's, the best way I can describe it, having had it, you just give us the keys to our mind, our subconscious.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah.
So who do we
guide you to the door, open it up and say, hey, take a look around. What do you think about this new way of doing things, this new environment?
Totally. And the key is the key to your future and freedom, and the chains come off you that you didn't even know probably that they were there. And they go back to typically our childhood, as we identified before. Many do, but not always. Who do we have with us today?
Today we have David with us. This is a friend of mine as well as a coworker, and he has agreed to be my willing participant, as it were, today.
Awesome. Hey, David, how you doing?
I'm good. If I was any better, I'd be jealous of myself. So hopefully after this, I'll be jealous of myself.
Beautiful. Has she ever hypnotized you before?
No.
Oh.
So this is new. He has not been hypnotized before. I was actually going to do a little bit of a prepping process beforehand, and we didn't end up being able to do that. So this is going to be completely new for him. That's why it's going to be exciting to see what he reveals at the end as far as what his experience was like.
This is going to be good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Wow. So I'm not sure where we begin, but the first thing that comes to mind is if anybody is listening to this and driving, it's highly recommended that you don't continue to listen. Just,
right.
You know, that's the disclaimer.
Absolutely. If you're going to follow, because you are able to follow along if you'd like, but absolutely do not be doing anything, sit down, allow yourself to just be in the moment in the process of what we're doing. So that's always best when you're doing any kind of therapy anyway, but especially with hypnosis, because we are switching you into a different brainwave state, and it doesn't allow you to be completely present like you need to be.
So before we even begin, there are different techniques to hypnotize somebody. Can you explain what you're going to do to Dave? And before you do it, I think it'd be interesting to see, learn, so we know what's coming next.
So first thing I was going to do is a test to show you as well as other people. And you can do this test as well. It's not as effective. You're not going to be able to do it on yourself. So you really need someone there with you to be able to see what's going on. So this involves your eyes. You're basically going to, with your eyes open, look up at your eyebrows, right? Mm-hmm. And then keep them looking up as far as you can. And then you're going to slowly, when I give you the go ahead, start to slowly close your eyes. And what you're going to want to notice as the person watching is how much of the white of the eye do you see as opposed to the iris. And that is an indication, if you see more of the white of the eye, that person is likely more suggestible or a better candidate for hypnosis.
And part of the reason why I asked this, the technique, is that's the one that has worked the best for me.
Yes.
And I believe I shared that I've had it done a few times, but before we met, a practitioner did it that way.
Yes.
But also shared audio. It wasn't of a session. It was just her explaining to do what you said. And then, and I believe I shared this, that there was a certain goal for that practitioner. And I listened to that audio occasionally, not for the goal, just to fall asleep. I put headphones on and I do what she says about looking up, et cetera, et cetera. And before she even gets to talking about what the goal of the hypnosis session is or was, I'm already sleeping. It's amazing.
And the reason for that, because it starts to set up that process. It almost starts to switch your brain off and switch you into that mode. You can do the same thing with focusing like on a light, on a point on the wall. The same effect can be, you can achieve the same effect, I should say, as far as being able to kind of disassociate, if you will. You're trying to go into that more relaxed space. And that helps you when you're doing it, specifically looking up at your eyebrows. It actually causes a dissociation in your brain, because you're trying to look up and at the same time close your eyes. And so it's actually not something that you're meant to be doing at the same time. So it throws your brain off and actually causes you not to be so focused in the present moment.
So to your point, and I'm always transparent, I had some minor surgery still here like 2 days ago, stitches for skin cancer. When they did the biopsy, they had to stick a lot of needles in there. And I did what you said. I'm laying there and I'm just, I focused on a hole in the ceiling tile, and I found myself displaced in a good way. I just went into another realm for a little while. Just I didn't have to think about it. And when I had the surgery 2 days ago, full disclosure, 60 stitches, not kidding. I'm wide awake, with local painkiller. Did the same exact thing. And at first I'm like, you can feel what they're doing. Let's put it that way. But
especially at first before it's numbed up, right?
Yeah, well, even the numbing is a little unpleasant, but then you can still feel pulling, tugging, ripping, cutting, blah, blah, blah. Did the same exact thing. And I can tell you right now, and it's 2 days ago, I don't really remember it so much. I remember laying there and then, sterile cloths around me, my eyes and nose, can look out. That hour and change is kind of a blur, because I did exactly what you did and I've learned to do it. Was I hypnotizing myself?
Yes, you were. You basically disassociated from the pain you were experiencing, and being completely present in that experience and the stress around that you could have been experiencing. So you were, in essence, allowing yourself to be relaxed enough to go through the process and at the same time, in a sense, be under anesthesia, because you were disassociated from the present moment.
It was cool. It's all I'm going to tell you. It was just, now that I'm thinking about it, because I haven't thought about it until
you shared that, actually.
I don't even remember. Yeah, I remember being there, but I don't remember all that was taking place, because and there was a song that popped in my head and I kept playing it over and over again as I was staring.
And that's exactly how it works. You find those modalities, those ways that work with you. And that's what we would do with the client with pain as well. We would find some kind of distraction, dissociation, aspect that helps them to be in a different place away from the pain at the moment. And actually, that's what they used for anesthesia before anesthesia was even provided. So it absolutely is valid. And there's so many, stories out there to show that, even with hypnobirthing, you know what I mean? So, you are just one prime example, and I'm so happy that you shared that today.
I felt I needed to, and I didn't think of it until we started talking. And it's not about me. I just want to share it with other people that you can use it. And now I look forward to my happy, quiet place. I'll go home, after a, busy day, and I look forward to laying in bed, and I never did before until this, where I can just close my eyes and maybe I'm meditating. I'm just in a zone where I can think of things, and it's just like, I look forward to it. Can't
Yep.
explain it. It's weird.
There's no place like home, that quiet, calm place within yourself. And that's where you're able to just come up with so many ideas about things. You don't even have to try. They just come to you. They float to you out of nowhere, because you're open and receptive to it.
Yes, because you've gotten into your happy place and blocked other stuff out. And just want to share a final thought here on it. I've spoken to hypnotherapists, hypnotists, that they'll go to the dentist and they'll get, root canal drilled and all of that. They don't take anything. No Novocaine, painkiller, whatever. They just do what I did. Shoot me up. I'm not doing that. But I can tell you, not to worry about things, that, focus on something. It's amazing how it works.
With practice, you never know what you might be able to do. I mean, even what you did seems very impossible to some people, to think that you could zone out enough to not be stressed out about what you were going through in the procedure. You know what I mean? Melissa,
it is a secret weapon.
It really is.
I'm serious. It's almost like a superpower, whereas, man, you're not going to hurt me.
Yeah.
You check out, but you don't check out. All right. So where do we begin today with David?
Okay, so with the test, again, you know how to do this, but other people can try it at home again. David will have you look up at the ceiling. We're going to, keep your head straight ahead. You're going to have your eyes look straight up to your eyebrows as far as you can, up, and then slowly start to close your eyes. So I was seeing more of the iris with him as opposed to the sclera. So in that case, there's a scale of 1 to 4 is how Dr. Spiegel used to rate it. And so obviously the more of the sclera you see, the higher the number. So I would say David is probably a 2 based on what I was seeing with his eyes. But that's how you would do it, is essentially keep your head straight and point your eyes straight up at your eyebrows, look straight up as far as you can look, and then slowly start to close your eyes, but you want to do it while you're still looking up. And then so that's where we're able to see how much of the sclera we're able to visualize while you're doing that process. And so that's why it's important to have someone else watch you do this if you want to do the test and kind of see where you might land on the scale.
Interesting. I wasn't even aware of that. I just do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I learn things all the time too, and I didn't realize there was actually a scale to it. I knew that was one of the ways that you could test, obviously, and it does actually fatigue the eyes, and it just helps you to naturally close them, and you kind of want to keep them closed, and so it's not usually a hard thing at that point once you're now going into the script or meditation for that person to stay in that place.
Now, if that person didn't come back with a higher score, would you use another technique to hypnotize them?
No, not necessarily. It's just that I would be aware that, that person might have a little bit more resistance while working with them, especially as we get a little bit closer to the touchier aspects of what may be happening around their problem.
So we have a subject here today that seems reasonably what we need. Would you say?
Yeah. Okay. He's pretty calm.
Okay. All right. What's next?
Yeah. Next, I'm going to do a little bit of a guided meditation with everyone. So we're going to go into, like you're sitting in the office and I'm doing a script with you. We're just going to breathe down a little bit, and then I'll go into it, and then we'll come back out and we'll see how David experienced it. And if you'd like, you can share how you experienced it. And of course, on the recording, I would love to hear how everyone else experienced it as well.
Should I do the eye thing first, or just I can close my eyes and go into the meditation as you do it?
Yes, everyone can go ahead and close their eyes now, and I'll go ahead and get started. Wonderful. Now go ahead and just start to relax. Allow your body to soften into the chair that you're sitting in. Feel the chair below you. Your hands resting on your lap, eyes closed, breathing slowly. Just relax into this moment and start to feel, starting at the top of your head, a warm sensation flowing down your body, like you're standing in a shower. The warm waters washing over your body, down from the top of your head, all the way down to the tips of your toes. And just feel it flowing over your face, and the back of your head, down your neck, and your shoulders as they soften even more and relax. The sensations moving down your arms into your fingertips. Just relax and breathe. Allow yourself to just be in this moment. Feeling the sensation moving further down your chest, all the way down your back, down your legs, over your knees, around your calves, and all the way down to the tips of your toes. Breathe. That's good. You're doing great. See yourself standing in a kitchen. This could be your kitchen. It could be any kitchen you like. Look around. Take in all of the sights, all the familiar sounds. Be here in this moment and just feel how wonderful it is just to relax and be in this moment. As you look over at the counter, notice that there's a bright yellow lemon just sitting there. Hop over to the lemon now and pick it up. And as you roll it around in your hands, you can feel the bumpiness. Maybe it's got a few imperfections on it. And now as you look on the counter, you see a knife beside you. Now take the knife and cut the lemon in half. And as you do, the juices roll out onto the counter. You may even start to smell the familiar tartness. Bring half of it up to your nose now and take a big whiff, smelling all of the sweet, fragrant tartness of the lemon. Now sink your teeth into the lemon, feeling the sourness fill your mouth, the juice rolling down your cheeks and onto the counter below. Memories of summer, lemonade. Starts a flood into your mind and fill you with happiness. Start to come back now from this place. I'm going to count you down from 5 all the way down to 1. At 5, starting to come back to this space now. At 4, feeling your fingers and toes, starting to wiggle them more now. 3, breathing more deeply, moving your body around. 2, becoming more alert and aware of this moment, feeling even better than before. And 1, opening your eyes, feeling completely present and back in this moment. Hi.
Do we have to come back?
No. only if you have to go back to work or something. How was that?
I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah?
Especially the lemon.
Mm-hmm.
Oddly enough, I could taste it.
It was real, right?
It was. That was interesting.
What else did you experience? How did it feel when you were in that space?
very relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was in my old kitchen that I redesigned and rebuilt myself. I could see all the detail. I could see everything.
Nice.
It was interesting.
Did you feel like you were really connected in that space at that time?
Yes.
Mm. And that's the beauty of it when we're doing this work, and you can see how real, surreal it feels viscerally. This is where we were talking about last time, where we're shutting down the front part of that C, where we're so focused on everything in the present moment. We're able to then engage our body fully so that our senses are able to really also be as part of the experience, if you will. And then back here in the back of the brain, we're able to start to see a different type of reality or way than has been presented to that point.
So we had two things going on here today. The hypnosis part, we didn't really put David into a hypnotic state, but we started the process with the eyes looking up, and then we pivoted over to the meditation, which could you say that is a form of hypnosis?
It is. And that we call it a script when we're working in hypnosis, but in essence, it is a guided meditation because we're taking you in and out of the process as far as relaxation, going through. Normally with a script, we have it's a guided meditation where we're leading you through some kind of scene. There's some kind of learning experience with it typically, and then we're bringing you out of it. With the type of it was more for, time purposes that I didn't go into the full aspect of things.
Yep.
But the way that I would normally approach it is my client may or may not have their eyes closed. But they are engaging with me during the process. So I would have been asking questions. Yeah. So that's where I mean that we still do a relaxation process to help go into that space a little more, maybe to the edge of it, if you will, because we're still dealing with things in some aspects. But then when they dip into that state on their own and we notice it, that's when we really start to ask those questions that engage and that you're able to actually feel and experience like we did with the guided meditation. That makes sense.
It's just amazing that lemon. In the beginning, I was having a little bit of trouble focusing. Like I was in the kitchen and I started bouncing around in my mind. But then when there was a focal point, the lemon, I felt I lasered into it, then, cutting it. And that it's almost as if I got sucked in.
Yeah. It's the same way with the hole in the wall, right? That you were focused on when you were having your procedure done.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Super cool. This is just a very loose example of what takes place from this point forward. That's where the change can be, either stopping smoking, getting rid of phobias, fears, anxiety, on and on and on and on, or things that hold you back, limiting beliefs that go back to your childhood. Super cool. What's the best way to find you, Melissa, if somebody wants to even ask questions, book a session?
Absolutely. My phone number is 602-622-2684. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. You can find me on Google or my website, happymediumhypnosis.com or LLC, Anyway, in any case, I'm definitely open for speaking engagements, and I'm actively working with other organizations to try to get this in healthcare settings. Yeah, so we're trying to do big things here.
And thank you for that. It is such a game changer, but it's not used as often as it should be. Imagine if they hypnotized me before the procedure. I did it myself, but just for others that have, let's say they have anxiety. And by the way, I'm going to say, if this was last year or 3 years ago, I'd be freaking out. Yeah. I would. I don't like needles, so I'm not going to admit it. But it was nothing.
Most people don't like needles, so I'm sure they're very encouraged by what you had to say today, just around that.
2 words. It works. And another 2 words. Thank you for today, Melissa and David. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you as well for having us.
We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.